We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Samech Beizam and Beizam Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 162b. The Gemara continues, they had the following question. Shita umechsa mai. What if the witnesses, when they sign the document, they sign 1.5 lines underneath the end of the text of the document? Is that kosher or is that puzzle? And the Gemara says, Tashma, come in here, the following proof. This is from the Brisa we quoted above. The Brisa said, Hirchik eso edim shnei shitin puzzle. It said that if the witnesses sign 2 lines below the text, that is puzzle, that's disqualified. And so therefore we can infer hashita umechsa kosher. If it would be 1.5 lines, it would be kosher. But the Gemara says that's no proof, because Ema Seifa, look at the end of that very same Brisa. It says Shita Achas kosher. If it's 1 line, then it's kosher. Shita Achas with the kosher. That sounds like 1 line is kosher. Hashita Umechsa puzzle. If it would be 1.5 lines, it would be puzzle. And so the Gemara says Ela Mehal Leka Lamashma. No, rather we can't understand anything from this Brisa. It brings no proof one way or the other. And the Gemara says, My Havela, so what is the conclusion? What happens if they do sign 1.5 lines below the text? And the Gemara continues, Tashma, come in here, a proof from the following Brisa, the Tanya, because we learned in a Brisa, Hirchik eso edim shnei shitin min haksa puzzle. It says that if the witnesses are signed 2 lines below the writing, then it's puzzle, it's disqualified. So pachas mikan kosher, we understand from that if it's less than 2 lines, it is kosher, and that answers our question. If it's 1.5 lines, it is still kosher. And the Brisa continues, Hayu arba v'chamisha edim chasumen al hashtar. Let's say there are 4 or 5 witnesses signed on the document. V'nimtza echad mehen karov puzzle. It turns out that one of the signatures is a relative or is disqualified. Teskayim edus bishar. So the testimony can still be fulfilled. It can still be confirmed with the rest of the witnesses. It doesn't matter if, let's say, one of them is a relative, as long as you have enough witnesses that are kosher. And the Gemara says to that, Messiah le Chizkiah. The idea in this Brisa, it's a support for what Chizkiah said. The Amar Chizkiah, because Chizkiah said, Mileyu bekrovim kosher. If you fill the blank space with signatures of relatives, it's kosher. That's exactly what you can do. Let's say the witnesses sign and there's too much space between the signatures and the text. You can fill that space with relatives, and it's not a problem. And the Gemara says, V'yal Tami, you shouldn't be surprised by this. Shaharei avir sukkah posel b'shlosha, because airspace by a sukkah, it disqualifies even if there's just 3 tvachim. If there's 3 tvachim of airspace by the schach, that is a disqualification. That's similar to having a blank area in the document. And schach posel, let's say you have disqualified schach that's in that same area. Posel bi'arba, it's only a disqualification if it's 4 tvachim. That's the equivalent of filling the blank space with relatives. You see that by schach puzzle, you actually get a little bit more space. It's able to be kosher all the way up until 4 tvachim. And the Gemara continues, they had the following question, Shnei shitin sha'amru, when we talk about these 2 lines of blank space which disqualify, again, if the Adam sign too far down, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Samech Gimel Amid Aleph.